the episode.
Yeah, there we go. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to Mixlife episode 35. I had an ultra busy week, so I didn't have enough time to really plan anything super exciting. So today we're just going to be fielding questions and kind of chatting about stuff we've been working on or whatever, and just fucking around. So I'm here with Adam today. Say hi, Adam.
Hi, Adam. What's up, everybody?
You shaved your beard, dude.
I did. I had a side gig, like a serving thing, like a catering gig, and it was like $200 to shave my beard, basically. So
yeah, I'd probably shave my beard for $200. I can't blame you.
Got to pay the bills and such.
For sure.
What's up, everybody in the chat? Glad to have you guys here. If you got topics or questions you want to know about, feel free to ask them. We're pretty flexible today to talk about stuff.
So, we've just been busy, I guess, trying to line up all our different product lines. We just got Wizard Labs online 2 weeks ago, and we're still working with the Mixer Collection guys to keep the juice line flowing in Canada. Always trying to reach out to new distributors and manufacturers and all that, and just shops, everything. So I think we're in like 20 shops now or something, like 25.
Yeah, did you see they got some harsh regulations coming to Canada, or they're trying to pass, but the way their government works is there's like 5 versions. So they introduce these crazy bills into the government, and then they call them read-throughs or something like that, and they basically will edit it down. But the one that they put through, it kills Instagram reviewers. It kills you can't even advertise. Like, the only way you could advertise e-juice from any way would be like if it's in the background where you're selling something else. Like every other type of advertisement, they've got it banned. They've got free sample, like just so much. It's harsher than the FDA one. I mean, because they're saying you can't talk about it, you can't post about it. I mean, it's a kill vaping type of bill, and luckily it doesn't go right into effect. It's something that has to get approved like 5 different rounds by both their groups of people. But it was hard.
I think Canada actually has a stronger advocacy group than we do in the United States. Yeah, they definitely do, because they have CASFA and they have what's Sean's thing? Sean Casey?
CVA.
Yeah, the CVA, the Canada Vaping Association.
Yeah, I think so.
And he's pretty strong.
Yeah, so they'll probably make adjustments, but definitely they came out of the box swinging for sure.
That's it. From what I can understand about how things work there, is it's normal for them to come on really strong, and then for things to get toned down as they negotiate their way to passing it, right? So they'll back off of things as it gets closer to when it comes to the final vote. So the final version should be much less restrictive than the original.
I think they're talking about legalizing marijuana as a country too this year.
I'm like 90% sure that's going to actually happen. They're just going to federally legalize it. I think it's already federally decriminalized. It's not exactly illegal, but you won't go to jail for it or anything. I'm not really sure. Oregon just did that. They decriminalized almost everything, right? In personal use amounts, right? So if you get caught with a baggie of whatever, it doesn't even have to be weed. You won't go to jail.
That's how it's funny. Down here is Republican city, and Florida in general is pretty conservative, but Tampa and Miami have that decriminalized. So,
because it's just a burden on the justice system in general,
right?
So be spending a bunch of taxpayer dollars to bust a dude who's got a little baggie for himself, and he's not selling it to other people. He's not out giving it to kids. He's just doing what he does. And while I don't feel like it's great to decriminalize drugs that can kill people, at the same time you're never going to stop people from using them. So if you just control the amount that they can carry with them, like that's reasonable, then like it still makes dealers like lawbreakers that can get in serious trouble, but people that just the end user, right, the addict, it's more like a public health thing than a criminal thing. So
yeah, the crazy thing when I went up to Colorado, there's still people that I'm friends with there that smoke, and they'll still buy from dealers because they don't like paying the taxes. So
yeah, I mean, whatever. I don't know how Colorado's tax system is different than Oregon's. So
it's 25% there, so 25% to the dollar.
I don't think it's that bad here. Like, it can't be because it's pretty cheap. But I mean, I don't really smoke, so I don't know. I work with this stuff sometimes because it's like an industry thing here, but it's not really my jam. I don't enjoy it. So
yeah.
So real quick, I've been going through the Wonder Flavors line and trying to anyways. I'm still getting over like a cold, so my taster's all weird, but I'm in absolute love with their Brazilian coffee.
Is it the best coffee, you think?
Well, I don't know about best, but what I like about it is that like I don't get that funky like over roasted flavor like I get from a lot of the other ones. Like Flavor Art Dark Bean and Flavor Art Tiramisu, which are both pretty reasonably good coffees. Both have kind of like a burnt roast, like the beans were burnt too long, like wrong when they were roasted.
Yep.
Which adds to the authenticity, I guess, but it makes them kind of harder to work with when you're trying to work with softer profiles. Like something that you just want like a coffee flavor to, but you don't want that like sharp, bitter edge to it. I think it's pretty promising because I've got it in this mix right here at 2%. You can see it's kind of dark, but not like
it's black,
not like normal coffee juices are like dark brown to black, and coffee is kind of a tough one to nail, but it's just sweet enough to be like I think usable in like bakeries and creams a lot easier. It's just more, it feels more versatile, and more well-rounded. It's not as aggressive.
Did they send it direct or did you pick it up?
Frank sent it to me direct. He sent me the whole line and asked if I would go through them and give him my feedback. And he made sure to ask. He said he really wanted to hear like the negative feedback, so he knows which ones they need to work on and maybe revisit, which was pretty cool. I don't have a whole ton of negative feedback out of any of them. Some of the fruit flavors can be kind of soapy, but I haven't really given them the benefit of a full range test, right? Where I'm testing at like 3 or 4 different percentages and at various stages of the steep times. I mean, they're working through it, but it takes a really long time. Like I still haven't even like 100% finished the flavor. James Rivera said dark bean is okay, but it's kind of like the last cup in the pot, right? It's been sitting there for a while. It's got that kind of like sharp, sort of burnt edge to it, which is nice.
Yeah, it's like
you're looking for that really authentic, like manly chest hair of coffee, right? Like hair of the dog.
It's like oil change, like when you get your oil changed, the coffee in the little room that you go into, it's there all day.
Been sitting in that fucking canter like all fucking day long, right?
Just with the powdered creamer.
Yeah. So no, I don't get any. There's no dairy element to Brazilian coffee. It seems it's really nice. I really enjoy it. So far, all of their bakeries have been pretty close to on point. Sort of lacking in like body a little bit, which I think is common in the super concentrate one, and with the trends to move away from DAP and diacetyl.
What did you do for the mix? Did you do creams with it, or did you
do 2.5% Inawera custard, 2% Devon cream, and 2.5% Brazilian coffee, and that's it. Pretty straightforward.
And for those that don't know, Devon cream is a chef's concentrate. You can get it from them in England, and they ship it.
And if you're in the States, you can get it from OSDIY.
Nice.
Also, but it's really good. I highly recommend it. It's like a darker version of Bavarian cream. Like it's got that same kind of body and depth, but yeah, Inawera custard is my favorite Korketh. it's pretty incredible, and it's really versatile, and it's probably the closest you can get to shaken vaping custard flavor, right? Like anywhere custard's pretty good, like just after an overnight or 2 days. It really wakes up at like a week or two, and changes into something even better. But it's like vapable like right away, and you get a pretty good idea of how the rest of the mix is going to work if you're trying to work on something in the long term. I think it's a really good choice. What's up, Emily's in the chat?
Hey, Emily. I've been using Flavora cream for my quick mixes because Jennifer had mentioned that it's good off the bat for like
Yeah,
a
I like
shake
Flavora cream for the short stuff, but it's really neutral and it doesn't have a lot of like. It's not really super heavy,
Yeah.
so I think it's good for like everything in the mid range, you know. So like if you're not looking for like a heavy, eggy, super duty custard, I think that Flavora cream is definitely the better choice.
My girlfriend has quit cigarettes finally, and she is vaping.
That's awesome, dude. Congratulations
today.
to Adam's girlfriend.
Yeah, 12 days she's been vaping.
And I'm sorry for your vaping budget because I know what it's done to mine.
Yeah, I made her a strawberry cream. I made her a mango, just basic, simple stuff to get her used to it, and then
you can get weird later.
I'm trying to get her to try the peppermint cream tester that I made. Yeah.
Man, so Liquid Barn, right? They're fucking white chocolate.
Oh, the white chocolate. Yeah.
Oh my god, dude! It's like crack cocaine, dude. I can't put it down. It's so good. I'm normally not into like bakery or winter type flavors, but I really like that peppermint. It's super good.
Yeah, I didn't use it in the cream I made. I used the peppermint Flavora that we got. And
I do really like the new peppermint from Flavora. It's got a definite like kind of candy cane vibe to it.
Yeah,
but I think in a good way.
When I was looking at recipes that, are there any candy canes that are decently done? And about half the ones I came across would use the white chocolate. And I was like, all right, well, that's where I can go with it if round one isn't all the way there. Yeah. So I think round two, I'm going to integrate that Liquid Barn in it.
Did you check out Slurry Cane? It's one of my old ones. I did it last year.
Oh, yeah. I remember that. I'll go look at that one.
It's more like fruit centric, right? So it's like more red, but the peppermint's definitely still really prevalent.
What'd you do with a strawberry or what?
Yeah, strawberry. I have to look, but I'm too lazy.
Sounds good. Strawberry candy.
Yeah, it adds like a nice like fruit body to the background for people that aren't super into bakeries but still want peppermint. I might make some later this week. Actually, it's kind of getting to the season, you know.
Yeah.
Then, this Brazilian coffee, man. Like it's been a really long time since I've really enjoyed like a coffee vape, and this is definitely like with the Inawera custard. And I think if I just throw in a little bit, if I ditch the Devon cream, which I don't want to do necessarily, but I think if I switch it out for Inawera's creme brulee and then add like just a hint of like bakery crust of some kind, like flavor art apple pie or something, I think it'll be a pretty spot on like tiramisu with a little bit of crust. It's super good.
What Cincinnati Kings mom's gonna go to vaping?
If she's not a custard, did she smoke menthols before?
Yeah, she smokes menthols.
She smokes menthols. Well, are they cools or are they like something milder? Because the cools are like super cold, but the other ones aren't quite as bad. Anyways, I would start at like 1% or 2%. That stuff's pretty strong. And I see people in chefs like blasting out like 3, 4, 5% of WS-23. And it's pretty aggressive. I think if you were starting her out with something like that, with something simple fruit and WS-23, I'd stick to the 1 to 2% range. And then if she wants it colder, it's easier to add more. But if you make it too cold, it'll turn her off of it entirely. And you don't want that. So I would start it.
The menthol is different than the culotta feel, like or the cold sensation versus what people are used to for menthol cigarettes. It's minty, but you don't get that what I like antifreeze.
Cools are the only ones because I think Cools have eucalyptol in them.
Yeah, there you go.
So they really hammer on the cold. At least if I'm remembering right, I remember Cools tasting colder than like Salem.
I think Parliaments were really icy too, if I recall.
Oh yeah, I remember Parliaments. Those were weird. Those were like the half filters, right, with like the weird paper cut.
Yeah,
thing on the end of it. That shit was weird as fuck. I hated those.
Yeah, the guys in England are crazy when it comes to both like cooling agents. Like they abuse cooling agents, and then they'll take your suggested percentage of like 10 or 11% and just say, "Fuck it, I'm going to 20." Like that's just they just operate.
They do like their stuff bold and really cold. So I mean, but a lot of those people, especially in the chefs group, which I mean, I love everybody there, and I've never had a problem. And I think they're all fantastic. But I think a lot of them, they're really not mixers, right? A lot of them are they're convenience mixers. So they do one shots and stuff like that. So in a lot of ways, they're still kind of like traditional juice consumers. Because they still want that super bold, like really strong flavor, right?
I think that's Lulu, the Pixel Chef, up in the house.
Oh shit, Lulu's up in here. WS23 is the work of the devil. Yeah, it's too much for me, man. Like it's just so cold, right? Like I'm not really into it. A little bit of menthol is nice sometimes, but WS23 is insane, man. You guys use a ton of it. What's going on, Lulu? I didn't know if you'd be awake this hour. You had a rough weekend. Quick shout out to chefs. They did a wonderful raffle for a hospital over there for a children's ward, and they raised like something like $8,000 raffle giveaway in their group this week. So, great job, Lewis. And I think Abby and Sarana, is that Sarana? Am I saying that right? Both of them also were really instrumental. And Gemma, I guess, is another member of the group. She gave away a lot of gifts, and they did a lot of work, like a lot of legwork, just getting people aware of it and getting people to rally together and donate. So that's like the biggest thing I've ever seen a juice company or a flavor company of any kind ever do for just a public service. You guys do a lot of raffles and charity, and I think it's really cool, man. Super duper cool.
Yeah, so for my girlfriend, it was like I would try to pressure her to vape, and she would never. She thought it was stupid, hated it, whatever. And then it was, anytime I try to get her a mod, things like that, she didn't want to do it. And then, one day she's just like, I want to vape, because she tried the patches and she didn't like the gum. So really just like, if you have somebody that wants to quit and you're having a hard time trying to get them to quit, just be an example. And then from that, they'll come to you, and when it's the right time for them, and then it'll actually stick. And so it's a good thing. It's exciting because you're like, oh, all right, finally.
I agree. I tried it with my parents, and it didn't get me anywhere because I got kind of pushy about it. I was like, hey, y'all need to quit this shit. What the fuck is wrong with you? You've been smoking for 4 years. But I was too aggressive, and it kind of drove them away from it. And then so they've shown a little interest recently, so maybe I'll get lucky. But it was the same for my girlfriend when she quit. I didn't try to talk her out of it because I knew better, Right. I knew her really well, and I knew that she probably wouldn't go for it if I got pushy about it. So I just quit, and I went for it, and then it didn't really take her very long to follow.
Yeah, it's really cool though. So
how do you use different cooling agents together? So Vapes asked. I probably wouldn't, to be honest. I mean, unless you're really trying to like freeze your lungs out, like WS23 is more than potent enough to get anything you might want. If you want cool without mint, then you just go for the cool. If you want mint, go with the menthol. But stacking them up doesn't really amplify their effects. And I think what it'll end up doing is taking away from your flavoring, right? So it's going to end up kind of trashing on your flavors a little bit. If you just the goal is to use as little cooling agents or additives as possible to preserve the integrity of your flavorings. So, I mean, you could try. I'm not saying that it won't work at all, but it's probably not something that I would attempt from my perspective.
You know
That
what?
makes sense. Did that make sense?
Yeah.
I'm tired, and I don't mean to ramble, but
Rambling man. No,
yeah, it's like the beard. Information just flows out of it.
You know, the cool thing about chefs, like you said, is like they've really created a market for the middle. You know, the one shot, where here it's like a baby baby industry, and it hasn't, you know, they aren't there yet. You can see that once people figure it out, it's an active industry. You know, like you said, the majority of people rock the one shots, and that's it's, you know, I feel like England is really a precursor to here. You know, they have things down a little better, or they're a little further ahead.
Nobody tell them the chef is in Wales.
Yeah, well, we'll say the general UK.
I couldn't resist. No, I agree. They've done a really good job at creating a market where there wasn't one, and it's something that I wanted to do here. I want to see happen here. Bleach my beard and wear a Santa suit. No.
For
I might
me,
paint my face green next month instead.
Like right? The Grinch.
The Grinch, yeah.
You know, for me with one shots, I had tried a few different ones. My advice is with one shots, I would say try different mixers, try different ones. And then once you hit on one you really like is when one shots become the thing, because when you already know you like the flavor, like one, you can buy one shots and try them, and you can see how a mixer mixes. Like you can see the way the finished product's supposed to be from a mixer for like $10 and see kind of like their style. Right. And if you're new to mixing, it's a real good way to be like, okay, this is what a good, bless you. This is what a good, oh, cool. Blueberry muffin deluxe. That's another sleeper. That's a good recipe. I've got all kinds of sleepers that like never hit on the crowd. That tastes like a blueberry muffin. That's a good one. But the one shots, you know, if you get ones you don't like, you're like, damn it, I hate these. But when you get one you love, it's awesome, because you have a 3-step process or 4-step process, you know, PG, VG, Nick, flavor percent, and you're done. And you're, you know, 100 mils of juice, 200 mils of juice fast. And for me, it was like, I really liked it, because you have times when you're a mixer where you're like, no, I don't want to open all the flavors or ELR. I don't want to find these 7. Like I've got hundreds of bottles of flavors, and that takes more time than mixing the juice, is trying to find everything. I'm not organized with like racks on the wall. So it takes me time to find these flavors. And then when you like can't find one flavor for a half hour, you're like, ah. So being able to go to the one shot and just, you know, one flavor, you're done. It stands out because it looks different than the other bottles. Like I really like that. Like I went through it was my own recipe, but just being able to have my own recipe pre-bottled was awesome. I went through like 3 bottles of my own one shot myself, because I was like, I like the recipe, you know, it's a great one, and then just stuck with it. And you know, if you've never tried them, or you just want to support the mixers, or you just want to like see what a mixer mixes like, but you don't have all the flavors for the different recipes, or like we do, you can't get these recipes that we're releasing lately. So we're really like with the Wizard Labs release, it's all 10 brand new flavors that have never been released on ELR, all the flavors from mixers that make really good stuff. And then not only did we make them, but we also cross critiqued them among each other. So our whole team of the mix team, every one of these recipes was mixed up, reviewed, and tweaked. So you got an amazing recipe, and then you had an amazing review and revision process where like those are some 5-star recipes. So for $10 to get an exclusive recipe you never tried before, 200 mils, it's got the value to it, because we generally will mix with like 5 or 6 flavors. We use weird stuff because we have all kinds of stuff. So you end up with, you know, if you were to buy 6 bottles of stuff, maybe you had one, that's $10 right there. So the value's there, even if you are a mixer, even if you mix all the time. And so I definitely recommend, if you never tried it, pick a bottle or 2 up. Doesn't have to be, you know, mine. You know, if you want to support someone on the team that you really like, or Wayne's stuff, or the chefs has a variety of one shots. Any one of those, I recommend one shots as a tool.
Yeah, you know, I think chefs has they have like the market cornered on variety.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, they have hundreds, I think, I'm pretty sure, of one shots, and a lot of them are really super duper good. And even for us in the States, like, remember the shipping from chefs is actually more reasonable than it is to order like from the States. If you're ordering small, it's only $6.50, right? $6.50 USD to ship it from chefs in Cardiff to all the way to Oregon. So like that's like nothing, right? Like I pay that much if I make a small order anywhere else. So and it's still pretty quick. I got my last order from them in like 11 days or something after it was actually processed, and they process it super fast usually. I don't even think they actually sleep. I'm pretty sure like Lewis just beats the people in the mix room endlessly with his tread pillow, just to make sure that they are getting shit up right away. Like I've seen it happen. I'm sure it's been on one of their live streams sometime at some point. Yeah, like I said, like it's only 5 days longer. The one shots are really excellent, and they're a really good opportunity for you not to just support other mixers, but just to have like some stuff that if you don't want to buy 7 different new flavors to try a new recipe, like it's a really low risk investment, right? Like $10 ish, give or take, for a one shot for a 30 mil that'll make 240 mils of juice. Like it's a super good deal. And a lot of their one shots are priced even lower. Like they've got really, really great pricing. I think they probably have better pricing than almost any of their their US counterparts.
Yeah, they got great prices for everything. I think, you know, the other thing too to think about one shots is if you have friends that that are vaping, they're buying store juice, and you're trying to get them into DIY, you can get them a bottle of PG, VG, some nicotine, 2 or 3 one shots, and a scale, and really take them down the road of mixing where they're not going to hit the overloaded feeling. You know, a lot of new mixers start by ordering 35 flavors of things they like, not knowing they're going to need, you know, there's a learning curve, as you guys know, between your first order and then what makes a good strawberry, what makes a good cream, what makes a finished juice. And to be able to fill that gap for people that you're trying to get, if you're trying to get people, you know, they already vape, but you're trying to get them off the store juice, it's a great way to transition them. So we're all in on one shots for sure. Not just because we have them, but, you know, even if we didn't have them, I'd still buy them just to try other mixers, because I'm kind of too lazy to order all the flavors like of somebody's recipe. But I'll easily, you know, I'd rather spend $10 to just have it ready to go, so that I could be like, all right, how does Apexified mix this? How does Emily mix? How does, you know, even I tried a crazy one. It's called like Quintessence from Chefs, and it was like a white grape brandy, and they don't even sell it anymore. But it was just one of the coolest vapes that I've come across, and I was like, oh wow, this is it'll introduce you to different flavors that you maybe never even thought of, or ways to mix that maybe you never tried. So it's a cool thing. If you guys have never tried them, but it's when you hit the rut. Like when you hit a rut and you're like, I don't want to mix anything. I don't want to write up a recipe. I don't see anybody's recipes online that, sometimes people drop like a 12 ingredient recipe and you're like, I don't want to mix that. This is a new option. Yeah, there's a link for ours. We are working on a Christmas collection with chefs. So something you can get your DIY buddies, or something you can treat yourself with. And I'm working on a Devon pudding, which is that Devon cream, but like a blended pudding, rich and smoky. And then a revision of my eggnog.
Hey, have a great night, Lewis. Get some good rest. I hope you recover well from your weekend.
Good
have
night,
a shot
Lulu.
before bed for me.
Kiss the pup.
The Wizard Labs link, if our one shots at Wizard Labs, is in the description of the video, but I'll get it up in.
I'll give her add moderator. ML Nikon, now a moderator.
We'll get it in chat. Yeah, I don't know why she's not a moderator already.
So here's what else?
Oh my God, what is that?
The sugar cookie fluff. I had people messaging me like that are addicts. So there's the other thing is like with like e-cig Express did the one shots as a one-off, like limited time only, and then people got hooked on the flavor. So I woke up the other day and I had somebody hit me up on all the flavors. They're like, I can't find this flavor. Where is it? And then I had someone else messaging me, a different person, on the E-Juice Makers Facebook page. And they're like, I need this flavor. So I went back to them and they did a re-release of the sugar cookie fluff, because people get hooked on the good flavor and then you want more of it. So that's the other thing, is that, if you find something you like, let the vendor know, send them an email. It's amazing what like a customer email will do to a business. Like, if you're the inside guy at a company and you're telling your boss people love it, that's way different than being able to show customer feedback. Owners really respond to that. So if you guys are enjoying the Wizard Labs one shots, the chefs, the ones we did at e-cig Express, let them know, and then that way it'll help keep those going, and it helps us keep going.
So that sort of works the same way that you see, like we talk about how there's a rank reviews on ELR and ATF, and it kind of follows the same way when you buy a product, right? So if you buy a flavor, right, so it's really subjective, and people are always like hesitant to make an investment on flavors if they're uncertain. There's always a lot of uncertainty, and I think that reviews really go a long way. Like even just a quick, hey, this was great, or I didn't like this about it, anything, like letting other people know, like you're just helping the community vet like products, right? So you're contributing to not just the success, right, but you're contributing to the community growth when you take 2 minutes to write even just a 1 or 2 sentence review saying, what you thought about it, and give it a quick rating. Like it helps everybody. It helps you too, right? Because it helps us gauge what you guys enjoy and what you don't enjoy, so that we can revisit recipes if we need to, or release recipes or products that you're more interested in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I had a review. The guy's like, I try all your vapes. I vape a bunch of them, but this is the only one I reviewed. I should probably review more. And like that was it. I was like,
Dave says he's reviewing all the damn recipes on ATF as fast as he can. I think I actually have more reviews from you, Dave, than I do collectively from everyone else. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost
I don't count the million comments on ELR asking if they can substitute Capella's vanilla custard V2 for Oba Oba.
Yeah, it's literally like the minimum thing you can do to help a mixer that you like is leave a review or share it. You know, that's, you guys have share power where if you like something, you know, if we're sharing our recipes all the time, it's a fine line between spam advertising and pushing our stuff out there. If you love something and you want to get it out there, like I'll post a recipe once to the groups, you know, but like the big DIY group, I don't post anything there because they're so strict on our stuff. So if you like stuff, you post it. That saves us from catching the heat because, you know, we post the Mixlife show, but we just, you know, it's a fine line between promotion and spamming people. But you as the people that try our stuff, enjoy our stuff, that'd be a much better way to do it, you know.
Cincinnati pointed out that you can't leave review on all the flavors if you don't have a subscription, but you can leave Facebook comments. And the reason that works out to help us is that it's multiple. One, ELR, that with no subscriptions, people can use fake accounts to manipulate their scores, and it was actually like a big issue like a year or two ago. And they would do it, you know, to raise theirs, but they would also use it to like downvote or give bad reviews to competing recipes. You know, so having the subscription as a gateway into leaving like reviews kind of ensures that people are a little more invested in the community, right? They put a little effort. At least shows that they put a little effort, and they'll if they do leave a review, there's the hope that with that extra effort comes the willingness to write an accurate review, as opposed to just, you know, downvoting everything into Bolivian that competes with anything that's on their own profile, or falsely upvoting their own stuff, or uprating it.
And Lars Lars made a change probably 2 months ago.
Now you have to leave a rating to leave a review.
Yeah, and when he did that, yeah,
a lot of ratings stopped. Like I don't get as many ratings anymore.
yeah, that apple juice is fire. I don't promote that too much because it's one of those recipes where, you know, every kid loves Mott's apple juice. So I didn't even want to get in the same, even close to the sphere of child-friendly recipes. So that's why it's not called like Mott's. It's just straight up apple juice. And then I don't promote that recipe too often, but that's a great recipe. It's like blended 2 apples and Fuji, and it's a good one. Yeah, you know, there's some good recipes on there. So ELR, if you were to come and start a brand new account today, you're going to hit a very difficult growth. Like when he changed that the review and comment thing, and then he also changed the rating sort. Whereas before, if you had 500 5-star reviews, you'd be the top recipe. He's got some other algorithm in there where a recipe with only 10 stars will be way above one with 200. So it definitely made it harder for, number one, without kind of an all the flavors homepage chart system, you're really left. It's very hard to find a good recipe, even on page 1. And that's what I see a lot, is people make that straw nana custard with fucking something at a 10, banana cream at like a 6. Like, and you just, if that's your first recipe, you're going to hate DIY, you know? And that's the problem, is that that site is serving up recipes that are 3 years old that were made for different kind of vape systems, where you're gonna be putting that in your you know, your Beast tank or your, you know, whatever modern tank you're using, and as a new kind of vape shop vapor, and your sub on, and you're not going to like it. It's going to be strange. You know, the way we mix nowadays, it's much more complex, much more layered. I mean, you're coming from a time when, you know, you had Flavor Art, Capella, TFA, and maybe Inawera, but not much. I mean, maybe Biscuit, and that was really as much was getting played at that time. And now you're looking at real flavors, Capella, Inaware, TFA, Flavor Art, you know, Flavor West was around. You've got all these European brands like Decadent Vapor. You have Liquid Barn stuff. You have Wonder Flavors. So the spread of flavor options is just drastically wider nowadays than most of those recipes. And you can't, the other thing is the search by date. You can't, like, I'd love to see just 2017 recipes. So, you know, all the flavors definitely wins that when it comes to the charts, but it also kind of, to this day, all the flavors skews, right? So, you know, ID10T, early adopter, tons of recipes, tons of good reviews. He's getting served up in most of those different categories other than top day mixer. So you really only have those 4 for popular 24. If you don't come out with a recipe and hit those in your first couple days, it's tough. Now, how do you sort by date? Tell me how.
You can just click on the right.
Oh, I know, but you can't only do the year. Okay, so you can't, yeah, that's the thing, is you can't sort by rating and then filter. Filter is really what I'm saying, is like filter all recipes 2017. And there's probably a way to do it in the query in the URL that Lars would know how to do, but I don't. Yeah, okay, so that's what I was going to talk about is if you guys haven't seen it, when you go to all the flavors on your main recipe page, he's got a tiny little, underneath the recipe title, there's a little I, the letter I in a circle. If you click that, you get all kinds of details on your recipe. I didn't know that, but it's basically like recipe analytics for your recipe. Tells you your hot score. I'll screen share and pull it up for anyone that's never seen it. Maybe everybody knows about it, but I didn't. And when I came across it, let me see, 2 apples. I'll share a link for the 2 apples.
Does Jess carry it? You go ahead and do your screen share. I'll get the link for him.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna screen share up and show you guys this thing. Like, yeah, I'm assuming most of you probably know it exists, but if you don't, it's very helpful. So you guys seeing it? All right, good. All right. So if you look here, so there's your recipe. I always thought this is just part of his, you know, layout. But if you click this right here, it shows you any recipes, details. This hotness score is how he gauges what hits those front pages and then whether or not they hit. So let's look at, and then there's another thing. If you guys didn't know, you click filter, you go to most mixed. Okay. God milk. Let's see. But if you're like trying to say like, all right, well, if I want to be hitting, you know, Wayne's numbers, you know, so give me a sec while it loads. You know, so he doesn't really, there's different things. So even though leaving a review matters when you're trying to like get hypey on all the flavors, this internet hates me. Try that one. It's funny. I'm always watching YouTube videos, and they say they have shitty internet, but they're streaming to YouTube, so it's usually that one. I have DSL. I don't even have cable. Okay, so look, here's Wayne. He's hitting 14,000. Don't feel defeated if you're not. You know, he's got a pretty big market that he's able to reach. But this is cool because this will make you feel better about life. Is the recent mixes, you can actually see who's making your juice. So even though he's got 14,000 views, you know, 4,000 people actually mixed it. But that's cool for you to track, you know. Did anybody even see this? Did anybody even make this? See, even his recipe, that's a no and a no, right? So it's difficult to hit that homepage. Let's see who's rocking it. You know, this is really the only place you're at this time that you can actually like show off a bit and come in as a new mixer and maybe get seen. You know, the new recipes, and if you can keep it popular. But I mean, you know, these guys run this thing. You know, it's the only person that's not Skittles or you know, or Wayne is ID10T that I see here. Chris Driver does all right. Chris DVR, whatever it is. Chris DeVore. I said
another
Driver.
thing, if you want people to notice your recipes and you really want people to try them, like you got to do a little kind of like self-shilling, right? So when you put the recipe up on ELR or ATF, what you need to do is you need to write up a little bit of notes, right? A little bit of backstory, what got you to where you were, and the thought process behind why you chose the flavors and percentages that you chose. It doesn't have to be incredibly in-depth, but it has to be a little bit informative, right? You have to give people a reason to like look farther, right? And then you got to get it out there. So you can't just go in the group and be like, "Hey guys, look what I made." Like get some information in there with it too. You know, write about why you chose the flavors and why you like the way they work together. You know, make a little write up. It doesn't have to be a half a page love poem like Longing, although that helps. But
pour your soul out on the paper.
Right? But you need to put a little bit of yourself out there, right? And then you gotta like be willing to market it a little bit. Post it in the Discord, like Mr. Burgundy here said, in the Facebook groups. You know, send it out there to people. Like get it in people's eyes. You know, if you're gonna find an image that looks nice with it, like dress it up a little bit, you know, and then put it out there. Like put it out there for people to see. In places that you know people are looking, right? So like the DIY or Die Facebook group or whatever Facebook groups you're in, the Mixlife group, like we check out the recipes you guys put up in there. I don't always have time to mix every one that I see, but I do mix the ones that stand out to me. So that's really what you need to do is, you know, make it stand out to me a little bit. Don't just throw it out there and hope, you know, oh, I hope somebody likes this. Like get a little bit of marketing behind it. You don't have to spend days on it. You know, I usually do a brief write up and then I copy paste that shit and I'll put it in like 4 or 5 different groups. You know, you gotta get it out there. So you gotta write good descriptions. It's really important that you do that because people they're just gonna look at a recipe, right? And it's just numbers and flavors on a sheet on a page and it's empty otherwise, right? Like if there's no information about why you chose what you chose or why your flavor works as well as it does. Like flavor notes are really important, and they help the community. Like they help everybody grow as mixers too, right? Because I think like your notes will compare, you know, to their notes or their experiences, and then that gives them a reference point to go from when they go to work with those flavors again, you know. So I try to include notes in anything I release. I have some public releases coming up once some steeping stuff is done. I know I haven't released very much public stuff for the summer or since this summer because I've been really busy with a lot of commercial projects. So I've been really just trying to get those out of the way so that I can get some new stuff out for you guys soon. Now I've got 5 or 6 new ones that I've been working on that will work out well. If you're not comfortable or you feel like you're not very good at making flavor notes, like spend some free time, even if it's just your poop reading time, reading other people's notes, so you can get kind of a basis for what you might want to write, right? Like it's okay to, I'm not saying to plagiarize, but it's okay to draw inspiration from other people's writing so that you have a better reference point for what you want to put out there.
And if you're using weird stuff, I mean, it's really.
I mean, look at Tutal. He can barely speak English or write English, right? And his recipes are popular. And
at the Gape Shop
for himself. He's got a one shot out there on Wiz Labs. He's doing pretty good for himself. You just gotta, get out there and write something. It doesn't have to be super, super intelligent or super in depth, and you don't have to have a background in hobbyist chemistry or even serious chemistry. You just got to get some stuff on there, right? Write a little bit. Make it personal. It's good.
Yeah, like okay, so Chiba, before the Noted show, Chiba was on Mixlife team. 6 Strings, Too Tall. Those are all people that just came across my radar, and I was like, I'd look at their stuff, I'd look at their mixes. They were solid mixers, and that's how they got on the team. It wasn't because they had like an influence or like a huge following at the time. It was that these guys are great mixers, and that was always the goal, was to get the team to be the best mixers that I could find, that also were like reasonable people. Like no drama zone here. So you had to be a great mixer and no drama, and more leaning towards the professional side, and being reliable, and that's where these 10 mixers came from. I mean, and then there's a couple mixers that didn't make that 10 set, like Apex and Steam, but we got products other places of theirs. So it's really a 12-person team. Emily's mixes are great. ID10T's mixes are great. That's how all these guys, the common uniting factor is that they're great mixers. They always deliver recipes that are like, oh wow, that's impressive. So that's really what, you don't have to spell to be on the team. That's Too Tall.
Too Tall made it. Anybody can. I'm just fucking with Too Tall. You good work.
Too Tall's funny because he sends screenshots of a broken like phone or iPad screen with the recipe on it to us in our private chat all the time, and you can't see shit. All you see is broken screen. But so he takes a picture of the iPad with the recipe on it, but the screen's all broken. But it's funny. Just fucking with him because he doesn't come on the show because he doesn't have internet, but he's in the chat. So
it's good stuff. It's good stuff. All right. So because I promised that we'd talk about cats, let's talk about this savage monster right here. This is Coco. Just a few weeks ago, she tore half my finger off, and then I lost a thumbnail trying to remove her from my finger. So don't let her fool you. She's dangerous. Say hi, Coco.
She's got such a dead stare. Like she's murdered a ton of animals in her life. She's like, you don't know the things that I've seen.
This is the vicious cat that ate my finger. This isn't the cat that we commonly refer to as asshole. That's Max, and he's hiding over there. But he's just big and saunters around like he owns the place, which he pretty much does anyways, because he's twice her size, and she's not small. So she's the queen bee. Now she's mad because I woke her up.
What happened to that Pog juice? Number one, that you guys are supposed to release at some point.
I think we just kind of hit a stage where replicating the thick orange juice that we really want, like, just isn't happening. And I think we've run the gamut, right? Like, we've hit every single fucking orange flavor on the market, like every single one, and they just don't hit the mark, right? Like, they get the orange flavor is good, right? But it's just, we're not hitting nectar, right? And the nectar is what we want, and it's the authenticity. So we've had a lot of really good flavors come out of it. I think Dave got the closest, but he got it with like fucking black market flavors that you can't buy anywhere else in the goddamn country. So, yeah. So there's like a.
Yo, what is going? Okay,
like
so I'm looking at Bull City.
Yeah.
They've got Circus Cotton Candy as a re-release. So I wonder if that's been reformulated because
let's take a look at the TPA website.
And then Wizard Flavors has some weird stuff. Do any of the team that's in the chat have Saskatoon berries?
I have it.
What about picarones?
Yep, I got it. It's like picarones are like they're like a donut, right? But they're made with like deep fried squash and pumpkin.
Oh.
I haven't had a chance to test it. The Saskatoon berries is interesting. It's like sour, like in the way that overripe fruit is sour. Does that make sense?
Hollandaise cream?
Yeah, I've got that too. I got all those, all the new Wonder flavors.
Is that like a Eggs Benedict cream?
I haven't. I'll go grab it and we can smell it, but I haven't tasted it yet. 1 second.
There's some weird ones here. There's cashew, quince jelly, African horned cucumber, strangery. The cherry moya is a soursop, but Inawera cherry moya and Flavora has a guanabana and a cherry moya that are really good. Let's see what else is crazy. Banafee. I was actually considering doing a Banafee, which is like a creamy banana pie that is popular in England. I thought about doing that for a one shot over there. I just hate the bananas. There's so like bananas a pain.
All right, I'm back. All right, so I got some of these Wonder flavors. I'll give them a whiff real quick. Let's see what we got here. So I tried the African horned cucumber, which is actually a melon, right? It's
okay.
I have to just finger test these because I don't have a pipette handy. It smells really. It's like really green.
Graham says it smells like buttholes. What kind of buttholes are you smelling?
It's got a weird kind of like tart melon and cucumber vibe at the same time. But there's like it's weird.
Yeah, so we have like a obligation almost. Definitely the Mixlife team. We got to tell people what to buy and what not to buy because we get a lot of this stuff promotional, and you're gonna go bankrupt trying all this stuff, and like hit or miss. So if we're getting these Wonder flavors, we should tell people what's worth buying at least.
Hollandaise cream just smells like custard, does it?
That's fine. Doesn't smell like hollandaise. Like you can't make Eggs Benedict.
I think I still have too much of that melon on my palate. It just smells like custard. It smells a little vanilla-y. I can smell some vanilla, some sugar in there. It's sweet.
It's easy. Like it's like 25. There's like 25 creams that you could use nowadays.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. I really haven't hit any like complete flops. I liked the flavor of the star fruit, but it's got this weird kind of soapiness to it that I haven't figured out how to work around yet. And I'm not sure if I'll be able to or not. So some people really like it, and other people really don't.
Yeah, that's what I was saying when you were gone. Is the ones that I enjoy more are Flavora and what else? Inawera.
Saskatoon berries doesn't smell promising. I'm not gonna lie. It smells. astringent kind of. I'm not going to finger test that one, but I've noticed with some of these that smell really weird. That they vape okay, and then some of the ones that smell good, like champagne soda, smells good, but it vapes, like Dave says, kind of like baby powder.
I'm gonna show you guys something. I came across it in the e-cig main on the Reddit.
Oh, and, the Four Horsemen thing.
Yeah, this thing's called the Four Horsemen, and I've not seen anything like this since those sea wind for things, right? And they look like this, right? And one's persistence, war, death, and then there's another one, and it's just like a local juice manufacturer sells it out of the shop. You got to hear this. So the first course is, I love it. He says we had 4 taste testers, half of which vomited during the test. And what these are is these are savory flavor profiles, which we talk about once in a while about entering into the other side of flavoring than sweet. And I would say Dave, ID10T, is the only person that has had somewhat success with mainstream releasing a more savory vape with his pickleback. Or was it, what'd you do? You did a pickle, you did your pickle ice cream pop, but then he did like a liquor pickle one too. Okay, so first course, death. Rich and creamy soup with country mushrooms and just a hint of garlic. Okay. Second course, war. Crisp, cool greens with ripe tomatoes and a nice vinaigrette. Third course, famine. Rich and tangy lemon sauce on breaded chicken. And then the fourth, which is pestilence, is basically like a sweet. So fresh from the oven, butter tart, like grandma used to make, but definitely like crazy. I'll share the link. You guys can read the reviews, and then in the comments somebody did video reviews of them too. But I was just like, damn, these are out there. So if you guys are looking to think about some weird stuff, that'll help spark your curiosity, if you will. But yeah, nobody does savory too much. But yeah, Pickle Gibson and Pickle Rick. That's right.
Savory is a risky territory. I think I'm proud of them. It's good for them to do that. I think even if it's just a funny thing, right? They could just fuck around. It's good. It's
just fun. To get all the shit talk, like to post it in the DIY or diagram
shops. I always kept a bottle of like, you know, Hanks and hot dog or something around with me, just to, you know, give to the freebie, the team free shit guys. Yeah, give me some of your free juice, man. All right, here you go. Some fucking hot dog.
I got a bunch of the vape shop guys I connected with, and one of them was posting that people will come and dig in their trash can when they're closed, trying to find any kind of vape juice. Like, the thirst is real. Can you imagine you show up for work and there's like vapors in your trash can, like the dumpster. They dive the dumpster looking for bottles of free juice.
That's pretty crazy.
Isn't that crazy? And then like the comments from the other vape shop owners were like, yeah, it happens all the time, other shops. So this is like a common vape bum thing, is to dig in the garbage cans outside of the stores. I thought that was wild.
Yeah. Says he's upset because they saw him. So, babes, I will check that out right after the stream. We're actually getting ready to wrap up. We're hitting our hour here. If anybody's got any last-minute questions, now is the time. We all know that Graham's a vape bum. It's all right. We still love you.
Emily, you could probably do anywhere a chocolate, or what do you have? You don't have milk. I don't know. Wayne was pretty sold on the Molenberry Glamour, and he's Wayne. You could call the chocolatier of vaping because he's got two or three that are basically need that chocolate to work. So I think the Glamour. What do you think? What would you suggest as substitutes for Inaware milk chocolate, not
Jungle flavor
regular
milk chocolate.
jungle flavor milk chocolate? There you go, folks.
Flavorshowzen milk chocolate is still pretty good too, but I like jungle flavors better. I think it's a little easier to work with.
Get a bottle of sugar cookie fluff. There's only like 30 left there at e-cig Express. So when you're getting your jungle flavors, remember the one shot.
For sure, for sure. Well, that's it for today, guys. We got the links below in the description. Check out our one shots. We got the juice line links. Everything's down there. Check out our Facebook group on Mixlife. We're just shy of 1,000 subscribers, so we'd like to hit that pretty soon.
Subscribe.
So subscribe if you haven't already. We're only 24 short, guys, so we were super cool if we could hit 1,000 before the end of the year. I don't have anything else for today. Well, I'll be back next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Have a great weekend, everybody. Cheers.
See you guys.